আপনারটা মিউট করা লাগে।
Good afternoon. Welcome to our Institute of Global Professional Free Webinar. Thank you all for joining and stay with us till the end. My lovely audience, today I am your host for the afternoon. My name is Batham Das. I am from Bangladesh. Dear audience, I am proud to be a associate with IGP as a global member. I feel honored and privileged to host this webinar. It's my delight to welcome you all to our Institute of Global Professionals free webinar. Thank you all for joining us today in this marvelous afternoon, and it's my humble request and pleasure to all of you to stay with us till the end. Institute of Global Professionals serves the student community resource, providing holistic social work and education for creative computer generation. IGP is a leading online skill development institute with thousands of learners worldwide. Institute of Global Professional is an educational institution provides social work with globally recognized. We organized our webinar training offline online courses by best and trained speaker coaches from all over the world. Our mission is to empower people. We have already completed 1099 webinars successfully. Dear participants, let's welcome our speaker, sir. Hello, sir.
Namaskar.
Namaste, sir. How are you?
I'm very fine.
So first describe yourself, then you can present your presentation.
Okay, thank you. किधर आए नहीं Okay, thank you. I'm very thankful to IGP for inviting me in this prestigious webinar. Are you getting my voice, Bandhan? Hello? Hello? You can hear me properly?
Yes, sir, I can hear you properly and your skin also visible here.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So I'm very thankful to IGP for this prestigious webinar, Memory and Forgetting in Education. I will give my brief introduction. I am a senior officer, official language and in charge technical translation in Electronics Corporation of India Limited, Hyderabad, India. So today my topic is purely on very academic issues, that memory and forgetting in education. As here all the learned audience will be knowing that memory and forgetting is very, very important. Memory is a very common phenomenon in students, not only students, to us also, and forgetting is also, it is a liability, but sometimes it is good also in our life. So what is memory and forgetting in education? Today our summary will be that nature of memory, what type of memory is there, what is this nature, what is the meaning of memory, what is memory and thinking, what is memory and learning, factors that affect memorization and learning, characteristics of good memory, favorable conditions for memorizing, and types of memories. So today my topic will be, this presentation will be based on these eight issues, which plays a very vital role in this very important aspects. So memory and forgetting in education. Gentlemen, there are 10 types of memories like habit memory and true memory. So I will say habit memory. When any student comes in a class, so we say that you touch this thing. So by touching, by feeling, by seeing, it becomes a habit. So by habit from our childhood, most of the things we have learnt in our life because of habit memory. There we need not to take any extra pressure or teacher because that time there won't be any teacher. So from my parents will say anything, my grandparents will say. So by habitual things, this habit memory comes and educational implications, immediate memory and permanent memory. You see, immediate memory and permanent memory. There is a difference between immediate memory and permanent memory is such that when immediate memory, suppose any things we have seen in our life before 20 years, and same thing occurs today. What happens? Our mind recollect those things, those incidents which had happened before 20 years, before 30 years. But when we see, so that impressions will be on our psychological aspects, and for that, this immediate memory comes into action. Same way, permanent memory. Permanent memory, mostly it comes to our mind if things are very good and things are very bad. So this becomes a permanent memory. Suppose a student has got good marks, he has received by honor by school management. So he will have a permanent memory of those uh, camera thrilling days. So this permanent memory, most of the time, it will be for good things. Because bad things also permanent memories are there, but as and when this time goes on, these bad things goes from our memory and permanent memory, mostly good things will be there. Fourth thing is a recognition. There is a difference between memory and recognition. Suppose we have seen some topics or we have seen some person, some formula. So by seeing the person, we recognize that we have seen him somewhere. But at the same time, when the things comes from memory, we cannot memorize that what is his name, what is her name, where we have seen to him or her, on what occasion we have met. So these things are the memory, but in recognition, we see only that we have seen somewhere or this thing has come across in our life. So this recognition is there. Fifth one is the recall. Recall is also very important for students. Suppose we are having any memory, so we are having memorizing many things, but main particular thing is there how much time we take to recall that things. That is most important. If we cannot recall anything, there is no use of that memory, particularly in education. For that purpose, when we teach to our students in our educational system, we tell them that whatever you have memorized, when you go to your home, you go to your hostel, evening, close your books and recall that what are the things a teacher has taught you or you have studied in your study hours. Because when a student will recall anything, what will happen? He will dig out many things and he has to take a lot of pain to recollect those things. That taking pain to recollect he or she will never forget in her or his life. So here recall is most important in memorizing factors. Then forgetting. You see, forgetting means whatever has come in our recognition, whatever we have studied, whatever we have taught, or what has been taught, we have forget. Because forgetting means we are not able to recollect what are the things have been taught. Anything. If we cannot recollect, if we can recollect, it becomes a memory. But if we cannot recollect, we cannot recall, it's a forgetting. But one thing is there. In forgetting, one plus point is there. A student should always, he or she should know that no, this thing somewhere I have studied, but I am not able to recall. I have forget that thing. Then factors affecting retention. There are various factors which affect retention. Means whenever we are going, memory is not there. Suppose that situation we don't know. Suppose we are having very bad experience with that memory. These are the factors which affect retention. Then methods of improving retention. Improving retention is very, very important. One can improve his or her retention by various things. Like whatever you have studied in your classroom, in your hostel, in your home, be individual, be alone. In the night time, you recollect your memory. You see that whatever I have studied, whether I can recollect it or not. One more thing is important. Whenever suppose you want to improve your retention, correlate with something, situation. Suppose you have gone somewhere and you want to retain the things, whatever you have seen, the historical places. So, for this improving the retention, what a student should do, he should see, oh, I have gone to that historical place, I have seen what are the things I have seen. So, if you know that what are the, where is a temple, where is a mosque, anything, church, anything is there, if you know that whatever things I have seen, so you can correlate those things, and by those things you can improve your retention. Then causes of forgetting. Causes of forgetting is many things are there, as I told. That suppose our experience is not good, we are reluctant. We know, suppose we know that this thing will never be in use my life. These are the things for which these are the causes of forgetting. Theories of forgetting is there, which will go to next slides. There you will come to know that what are the causes of forgetting and what are the theories of forgetting. Now, in the this illustration, the nature of memory. Memory is one of the most important topics of educational psychology. Most of the educational psychologists, they have spent their whole time on memory. Because for any student, memory is very important, and we remember what we experienced in the past. We remember the skill that we acquired, the knowledge that we gathered, and experience gained. We have learned a lot from number of things. We recall millions of experience which are retained our small brain. Then question comes, what is then memory and how it is different from thinking? These are the two psychological aspects which each and every parent, each and every teacher, fraternity, they should research on this aspect, that what is memory and how it is different from thinking. So here I will go to next slide and you will see that there is a difference between memory and thinking. You see, memory is a direct use what has been learnt. Suppose we have learnt in our school time anything as how to do a to welding. I was a student of mechanical engineering, so I will relate this thing. Suppose we are doing the welding work, so we should know that what are the welding faults are there. There must not be abrasion, carburization. There should not be craters. There should not be channeling. There should not be oxidation. These are the basic things which should not be in welding of two metal parts. So if you know If your memory is good, so you can do this mechanical engineering project in a very better way, because you know these are the things we should avoid. While thinking is an indirect use what has been learned. Here, thinking has got no direct use. By thinking, we can say that if you go by this way, it can be better for our project. So here, thinking gives a very indirect approach that what has been learned in our educational life or in our personal life. In the act of remembering, we perform an act which has been learnt before. In the remembering, one more important thing is there, that remembering will be always which we have learnt before. It will not be just now, very new. Still, I remember whatever I studied in my fifth class, sixth class, eighth class, high school. Still, we remember, and it has been memorized. But in the thinking, we do something which is partially new. So, this is the basic difference between memory and thinking. Memory will be somewhat very old. We cannot define by how much it is old. We can remember the second class, we can remember the happenings, we can remember our school days till the age of people for the age of 80 years, they can remember how they have studied in their school. But thinking will be partially new. This is very important things. A teacher should know that what is difference between memory and thinking. Now, memory and learning. This is also very important, that what is difference between memory and learning. Some methods of learning have got direct bearing on memory. You see, there are different methods of learning which have got direct bearing on memory. So, this methods of learning also plays very important role. It may be a rote learning, it may be a practical learning, it may be a touch and feel learning. So, teacher will act as per the direction of management, and what are the methods he has to use in that memory. A number of experiments have been made on the method of learning new facts. A lot of research and a lot of study has been done on this memory and learning. So there are three things are there: memory span, recitation of memorizing, and spaced and unspaced learning. You see, memory span is also very important. What should be the range? What should be the span of memory? Then recitation of memorizing. So suppose we have anything we have memorized, we should recite. So for that purpose, whenever any prayer will be there or any song will be there, so in the maximum in the this class of languages, students will recite the things. So for memorizing, this recitation is very important. Then spaced and unspaced learning. Here the experiments have been conducted on the spaced and unspaced learning. One is continuous learning without any break. You see, suppose somebody is a teacher. He is a teacher of mathematics. So that time, what will happen? He will be continuous teaching the theory of trigonometry, the formula of geometries, calculus, integration, anything. So here, this teaching is also one type of learning, and this learning will be continuous without break. The other means unspaced learning will be with any short break or spans. Experiment indicated that periods of intensive study of modern duration followed by period of rest are more conducive to efficiency. Remember, suppose anything we have not touched for nearly 10 years, we have not studied. Definitely remember, we cannot memorize. So for that thing, we continuous, there should be unspaced learning. So whenever we teach to our student, so there should not be any space. It should be a continuous learning. So as a teacher fraternity, we always teach to our students that whatever you have learned today, you should learn, relearn tomorrow also. For that purpose, one thing will be very important and which is missing in today's education system. Like a fifth class to fifth class student, a seventh class student cannot teach. This is very important that one should be able to teach his previous class. So whenever any student they should be given in a school system, so any student, a teacher should say that okay, you go to your junior classes and teach them whatever you have been taught in your previous year. So this will be very important for any education system. Now, factors that affect memorization and learning. So there are four basic, very important factors which affect memorization. First is factor of interest and confidence. Gentlemen, suppose we are not having interest and we are not having confidence on anything, so we cannot memorize for that thing for too much time. Because if you don't have interest, you will not have keen, you will not lean towards to learn this thing again and again. Suppose you are having interest in mathematics, so definitely you will see that suppose any student has come for any board examination, so you will see his question paper and you will try to handle the situations that by interest, okay, now what type of questions are coming in education system. So this is very much important. Same thing, factor of recency. Recency is also very important and which affect the memorization. Factor of growth through activity. You see, once we are not having activity, so without activity there won't be any growth in memory. So for that purpose, this practical system, how it has come? It has come only on the basis of this thing. Suppose we student want to memorize anything. Suppose the student want to do anything, give him a practical aspects. Suppose we want to say the student that the light always travels in a straight path. So for that purpose, he has to do some activity. He or she has to bring some instrument, and he or she has to make a peer group. There, he or she should start these factors which affect the memorization. So this is very important that activity must be there in any education system, and if activity is there, this memorization will be more. For that purpose, this because of activity, you will see that in the physical education classes, students do not forget whatever the physical exercises they were doing in their this early school systems, because there was an activity. Because of the activity, students will never forget the physical training exercise or physical training classes. So for that purpose, any teaching method should be shared with activity, or I will emphasize that activity based teaching is more important than a theoretical teaching, because more emphasis should be given on the activity. Then factor of meaning, outtiming, and broad relationships. If you are having broad relationship of subject which influence learning. That's why teaching methodology syllabus should be very meaningful. Here, the relationship and off timing is so that whatever student study, he or she should always think that my syllabus is very, very meaningful. It should not be unmeaningful. He or she should know that whatever I am going to study today, it will be very helpful for tomorrow's examination point of view, tomorrow's future, and in coming years, it will be very useful for my employment opportunities. So, if any student come to know these things, that my syllabus is very meaningful. In fact, the syllabus analysis itself is a very great chapter where we can analyze the syllabus, what are the things should be there and what are the things should not be there. Remember, as a teacher, we should know that in syllabus, what are the things should be there is very, very important, but what are the things should not be there, it's also very, very important. Because for that purpose, our syllabus will be very compact, it should be very meaningful, and it should be very focused. If meaningful, perfect, and focused syllabus is there, definitely student will have a lot of interest and confidence in listening and in study. When we attach meaning and association with a particular fact, it is learning better. Suppose any particular fact, suppose we are going to any botanical garden and there we study about what are the photosynthesis, what is the development of a botanical garden, how this botany has been arrived, what are the main importance of botany in our science education system. So here, this particular fact and association with botanical garden will play a very vital role for memorization of some things to our students. Now, these characteristics of good memories are also there. Following are the very good characteristics of memory. Good memory means everybody knows that quick and accurate recalls and sharp memories is known as good memory. Good retention, good recognition, rapid recall. You see, there four things are there. So when we go very deep in memory, we comes to know that memory itself is not sufficient. There should be good memory. Memory should be good. In fact, our retention should be also very good. Suppose we are memorizing. We are memorizing that anything is there and we are not able to retain that thing. So there is no use of that good memory. So for that purpose, we should have good retention also. Same way, good recognition also. Here recognition means to know, to familiarize. So anything is there and easily we can recognize. Most of the life we have seen our friends, our teachers, our students before 20 years. But if we see them today, so it's not a memory, it's because of good recognition. We have recognized that, oh, he was my teacher, or she was my teacher, he or she was my student. So with good recognition, this is also the characteristics of good memory. Then fourth, rapid recall. Rapid recall is also very important. That quick and accurate recalls means sharp memory. Again, one more thing has come. That one thing is memory, one thing is sharp memory. We say that gentleman is having very good memory, or he or she is having sharp memory. Sharp memory means a very logical sense is there. Suppose we have studied something, we may have memory, but if somebody asks me within a fraction of second and within 10 seconds I have to answer that question, there sharp memory will work. only memory will not be sufficient. So, for that purpose, this sharp memory is very, very important. Recall is the culmination of act of remembering. Some students retain the matter, recognize the same, but fail to recall at the stage. I have seen in my teaching career that some of the students, they are very good in classwork, they are very good in homework. When they do their class examination, they do excellent. But when they go for higher examination, when they go for board examination, especially to other schools, other colleges, their performance is not so well, because I have I have done research in this. That means, we are not able to recall whatever we have studied because of many things. So here, as a teacher, we should always tell to our student that whatever you have studied, when you go to your home or whenever you are having any leisure time, you should recall whatever you have studied. Suppose you are not able to recall. Suppose one thing I want to say, suppose in physics there is a Coulomb law in electricity, and we are not able to memorize what is Coulomb law. What a student should do, immediately he or she should open a physics book, and he or she should go to the page where Coulomb's law is written. Gentlemen, remember, when any student will open the page and again he will study whatever what he or she will feel, oh no, this thing I was knowing only because that beginning I was missing. But since he has done any activity, he or she has opened the page of physics book, opened that chapter, that page. So this activity will always remain. It will have imprint in his or her mind, and he or she will never forget. So this is very, very important things. Again, I will summarize the characteristics of good memory, that good memory, good retention, good recognition, and rapid recall. In summary, memory, retention, recognition, and ultimately rapid recall is most important in this factors. Now, types of memory, I will say that memory can be classified with a number of types, like habit memory versus true memory, role memory versus logical memory, immediate versus permanent memory, personal memory versus impersonal memory, passive memory versus active memory, memory based on the retention with sense organs, visual memory, audio memory, or tactical memory. Tactical memory. So these are the things which are very important in this aspect. That habit memory comes that I told in my earlier slides, it comes only because of habit. Suppose your habit is there, you are habitual to anything, so definitely you will be memorizing that thing. Here, in the sixth point is more important in our education system or in that visual memory. Suppose we are teaching any student by just giving the lecture, he or she may not remember. There is no doubt. A class lecture plays a very important role in our education system. We should not degrade the class teaching. But suppose we are teaching with PowerPoint presentation, with some slides, with some humor, with some examples, definitely that visual memory will play a very, very vital role. Here, auditory memory. Suppose any audio is there, that is also very important. Suppose our ear listens anything, that also a student never forget. So two things are there: visual memory and auditory memory. So that's why most of the classes now in almost all every country and every a lot of things have been changed in our pedagogy. The teacher fraternity, they are going for visual systems. We are teaching them with the audio video systems. So because though there is no doubt with the whiteboard or blackboard system, we cannot avoid. It's a very fundamental things that we have come from those ages and still we remember that whatever we have studied in our middle level or primary level only because that time our class system was very good and teacher used to take a lot of pain. I will say, I will say that my own experience that I will say with my own experience that whenever I was studying in my 10th class, and that time when this trigonometry came in 10th class, my teacher taught me the value of sine 45, cos 45, tan 45 nearly for 1 month. You see, in our education system of the 80s and 90s, that time teacher used to give a lot of weightage to memory. They used to give a lot of weightage to the imprint memory that it should imprint in our mind. Still we remember what is the value of cos 45, what is the value of sin 45. Not only this, how this value has come. Suppose this trigonometry mathematics, our learned audience, those will be from mathematics background, they will be knowing that sin like sin 45. Sin 45 value is 1 by root 2. How it has come? So these are the things now in our education system that time teacher used to say by analyzing and each and every student will come a blackboard and with chalk they will draw a triangle and they will prove that how this sin 45 value has come 1 by root 2. Each and every student, that time nearly 40 students used to be there. Each and every student will attend this formula. So this is very, very important for teaching system that whatever we taught to teach to our students, this should be a very visual memory and we should try that our student retain this thing for future also. Now there are various implications in educational implications in memory. You see, habit memory is very common in a school student because they how they early morning they brush up, they wear their uniform, they come to school in time, they do their breakfast, lunch, everything in time. It is all because of habit memory. It is introduced in the school, even deliberated in the form of mechanical repetition, tables, spelling, definition, anything. Suppose any table is there, 1 1 ja 1, 2 2 ja 4, 2 3 ja 6, 2 4 ja 8. So by this repetition of table, they will know the mathematical tables. But in education methodology, we should also understand the some types of important memory like permanent memory, impersonal memory, and active memory. This thing in previous slide you have come to know that a teacher should always give a maximum response and he or she should give a maximum focus on active memory. If our memory is very active, for that, our lesson plan should be very active, very interesting. Suppose any teacher is making any lesson plan. So what he or she should do, he or she should divide a lesson plan. Suppose our class is for 1 hour 60 minutes. Then remember, for last 10 minutes, he or she should leave only for memory and there students should be given chance to recollect whatever he or she has taught. This is very important. If a student recollect immediately, Remember, in our educational psychologist, they have told that, and they have proved also, if anything, they have done immediately after the class, if you recollect, that will never forget in their whole life. And whenever any lesson plan is there, so we must recollect some things. The first 5 minutes should be only on one thing what has been taught in our previous classes. Because lesson plans should not start immediately only for this class, we should also recollect. It means there must be a chain linking between one class to another class. That is one of the most important thing in this memory implications. Now recall. Recall is a revival of past experience and grams. It is the final stage of the end of the act of memory. You see, recall means revival of experiences. Suppose any experience is there, something somebody has met me, we have we could not answer any question. With that experience, if we can recall that, oh, this question I could not answer because either I was not prepared well, it was out of syllabus, or due to scarcity of time, I could not answer this question. So, this is very, very important, and it is the final stage of the end of the act of memory. You see, whatever, how much memory you are having, what amount of memory you are having, how sharp memory you are having, if one is not able to recall, there is no use of that memory. So, here recalling is very important, and teacher should always give focus on recalling. So it is primarily depends upon retention, as what is not retained cannot be recalled. This is the basic principle. This is the basic psychology. Whatever has not been retained in our mind, it cannot be recalled. You will be just moving here and there. We cannot recall until unless it is not retained. So retention is also very important in this system. It depends upon recognition, as recognition is the simplest form of revival of experience. Same thing I told to you that whenever we are going, we must recollect. If we cannot recollect and recognize, so here for any memory, this recognition will be also very, very important. Recall is active while recognition is passive. You see, very important quote, recall will be active while recognition will be passive. Then following factors which govern the recall: association of ideas, interest, frequency, recency, and vividness. You see, here again, association of ideas. Association of ideas means, suppose we are teaching anything about rainbow colors, what are the colors in a rainbow, to any junior level student or fifth class student. So in our social studies geography, we are teaching what is rainbow colors. So there what we should do, we should associate each and every color with some things. So if we associate that color, so definitely interest will come to a student. That okay, suppose you divide this violet color will be for this student, blue color will be for this student, okay, sky blue will be for this student. If you do these all things, then interest will come. Same way, there must be frequency, that every, suppose you want to say that this is very important aspect to study the light, the spectrum of light in physics. So there, every 2 or 3 days, a teacher should ask, okay, what are the rainbow colors? So these are the things which play a very vital role in recalling. So one more important thing is there that forgetting, you see, forgetting you cannot avoid. It is a inherent habit in human psychology. But in education system, though in our life we may say that some things we a man should forget also. So we should take in a very positive way. In the education system, this forgetting should be avoided. According to famous psychologist Freud, forgetfulness is voluntary but unwillingness to remember. Freud believes in conservation of memory. Nothing experienced is, according to him, really forgotten. As per Freud, what he believes, he was a human psychologist. He had done a lot of research on every field of psychology, especially in education psychology. So there, what Freud says that in our life, nothing should be forgotten. There is a nothing is there which can be forgotten if anything has come across in our life. We should always remember to whole life. Forgetfulness is usually regarded as liability, memory is an asset. In the education system, if we are having very good memory, it will be always like an asset. We can avoid many things, we can reach a great height in our life if we are having good memory. And forgetfulness is usually regarded as liability. It is a just liability. We should always avoid forgetfulness, and we should always remember that we should not forget anything, whatever things we see, whatever things we come across, whatever things we feel. We should always remember that it should come in our life as a memory. Because if we are having a lot of memory, our word bank will be there, we are having good experience bank, and it will have a very grateful in our life. That's why Freud has told that forgetfulness is the great problem and evil of life. Unnecessary things may be forgotten, but not the necessary ones. Okay, if some unnecessary things are there, there is some cushion is there, they can be forgotten, but not the necessary one. Necessary things should not be forgotten. So these are the following main factors which affect retention: objective interest in teaching, kind of material, thoroughness of learning, amount of character, amount of character, and that follow initial learning. So here a very good thing is there that suppose our material is very good, our objective of teaching is very good. We know that whatever we are going to teach, what is their objective, that students will never forget. Suppose two things are there, and we are going to teach the same thing in two classes. One thing is for middle level, and one is for intermediate class level. Our class is same. For the 10th class also, matriculation level, we are going to teach the light, theory of light, behavior of light. Same thing we are going to teach in higher classes like behavior of light. There we should remember that our objective should be very clear. Whatever we think to higher class, that should not be taught to 10th class. And whatever we are teaching to 10th class, it should not be taught to higher class. Because if our objective is not clear, so our teaching will not be very perfect. Same way, kind of material. You see, whenever we are giving, as a teacher, we are giving a handout to our students, that our material should be from very reference books. We should never encourage our students to go for any guide or any other type of systems. They should go for a original textbook. Even though this Google is also not so helpful, they should go Google definitely. They will get a lot of knowledge, but first they should go the original author's book, those who have written the subject in a very original way. So from there, if suppose some the student needs some clarification, they can come to Google, they can come to any other search engine. From there, they can go to very deep area of their subject. So here, as you see, in three thoroughfulness of learning. If our learning is very thorough, remember, my teacher used to say that when you prefer this teaching profession, always teach your student 120%, 130%, then they will remember 80 or 90%. So, as a teacher, we should over teach to our student. We should not only teach our subject, we should not teach only syllabus. We should teach what is in between the lines of our subject or syllabus. So this is very, very important things that whenever we are teaching, our learning should be very thoroughfulness. There should not be any loophole. There should not be anything which can be left for teaching. So this is very, very important. Now, this amount of character of activity, as earlier I have told, that as a teacher, we should have a lot of things for our teaching, and that teaching should go with the activity and that follow the initial learning. Because when activity will be there, they will write a process. One more important thing is there. Whenever as a teacher give any activity, tell to students that they will write the activity chart. Okay, what is the process they have undergone? Because if they write the process, they will never forget. That is the one of the most important thing, writing of a process. Here two things are there. Their language will also improve. Remember, gentlemen, that whenever we are teaching science or any mathematics or any subject, language also plays very vital role. There should not be any lagging behind in uh, language they are part of, because now it has come to the notice that students do very well in their examination, they do very well in science education, but they are not able to write the process in a good language of any particular country. Language may be anything. So there, the students should be encouraged, our students should be morally supported to write whatever practical they have undergone with the process and with their own system and own language. So these are the factors we written: objective stress, kind of material, thorough learning, amount of character activity. So these are the things, these are the methods of improving retention that emphasize on meaning, association, relationship with subject, organizing of subject matter, frequent reviews, over learning and thorough learning also help in retention. Very important. You see, in fourth point, over learning and thorough learning is very, very important, because student will remember very less. Because if we are teaching 150%, definitely he will remain 80 to 90%. But suppose we are teaching a student 100%, he or she will remain only 50 to 60%. So as a teacher, it is our moral duty to teach the student with over learning. So for that purpose, a teacher community should also be ready to learn more. So what are the good tools to be used for teaching? All these things teachers should also accomplish, and he or she should have knowledge. And sixth point is more important: study with interest and enthusiasm. As a teacher, whenever we go to class, that we should teach our student with full of interest and enthusiasm. So it is for both also. Students should also study with interest and enthusiasm. Same way, teachers should also teach to our student with full of interest and enthusiasm. So these are the basic things which things are there. Now, causes of forgetting, how students forget. If a teacher comes to know to avoid these causes, it will be very helpful. Lack of time, lack of interest, lack of organization, synthesis, and integration due to interference of another activity, continued experience with various kinds, no time rest for serious activity, emotional disturbance. You see, if there is no time or rest for serious activity, that time also student will not have any memory. So this is the basic cause of forgetting, that student should always have time for serious activity. If student have a time for serious activity, definitely they will do better. Emotional disturbance should not be there for any student, because if emotional disturbance is there, the forgetting will take place. Theories of forgetting are there. This is very important. A teacher should know that what are the theories: theories of decay, theory of inference, trace change theory, theory of revival failure, influence motivation and retention. If our motivation is not okay, we are not highly motivated, our retention will not be good. So for good retention, for good motivation, our system should be very, very fool proof. So that is also very important. As a teacher, we should know Sigmund Freud was the first psychologist to emphasize on the influence of motives upon retention. He used the term repression to describe the tendency to avoid remembership anything associated with fear or unpleasant of any kind. So, for that purpose, the Sigmund Freud was the psychologist who first discovered the theories of forgetting. A teacher should know these five theories of forgetting, very important, and the aspect of teaching point of view. So, with this, my presentation will be over. I am very thankful to gracious presence of all my learned audience. Any question, please? I will be ready to share my knowledge. And I'm very thankful to IGP for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful presentation. It has very informative for us and so also for our participants. Sir, it's time for our quiz session. After a short video, we will start our quiz session. Then after quiz session, we will go for our question answer session. So you have to wait for a few minutes.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll be with you.
Okay, sir. Dear participant, to join our quiz session, you have to go www.slido.com and the code is IGP2 and the code is IGP2. After a short video, we will start our quiz session. Let's enjoy our quiz session. ঠিক আছে কেউ ছিল না মাত্র ঢুকতেছে যে আসলে কেউ ছিল না মাত্র চারজন দেখছেন ওই চারজনের মধ্যে জুয়েলি তিনজন এদিকে আছে ছিল To join our quiz session, you have to go www.slido.com and the code is IGP2 and the code is IGP2. We will pick your name from Slido, so join with your full name, which will directly print on certificates. Top 10 will be awarded with quiz completion certificate. Dear participant, already 38 people joined with us. We will start our quiz session after 4 minutes. So mention your friend to join our quiz session. Dear participants, due to insufficient participants, we are not continue our quiz session from 1st January 2013. But soon we will start our quiz session in our website. Dear participant, to join our quiz session, you have to go www.slido.com and the code is IGP2 and the code is IGP2. We will pick your name from Slido, so join with your full name, which will directly print on certificates. Top 10 will be awarded with quiz competition certificate. Dear participant, to join our quiz session, you have to go www.slido.com and the code is IGP2 and the code is IGP2. Already 47 people joined with us. We will start our quiz session after 1 minute. Okay, participants, let's start our quiz session. Option Question 1. Forgetting can occur at any stage of memory. Option 1 true, option 2 false. Forgetting can occur at any stage of memory. Option 1 true, option 2 false. Option 1 true is the right answer and 95% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Kidivana is holding the first position after completing our first question. Our second question is implied obsolete muscle memory is processed in the option 1 cerebellum, option 2 pons. Option 1 cerebellum is the right answer and 91% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Kidwana is holding the first position after completing our second question. The third question is working memory is stored mostly in the option 1 prefrontal cortex, option 2 amygdala. Option 1 prefrontal cortex, option 2 amygdala. Option 1 prefrontal cortex is the right answer and 73% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Ricky is holding the first position after completing the third question. Our fourth question is retrieval in the second stage in the memory process. Option 1 true, option 2 false. Retrieval is the second stage in the memory process. Option 1 true, option 2 false. Option 2 false is the right answer. 40% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Evelyn is holding the first position after completing our fourth question. Our fifth question is information in the short-term memory in the form of pictures. Option 1 iconic, option 2 acoustic. Option 1 iconic, option 2 acoustic. Option 1 iconic is the right answer. 83% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Evelyn is holding the first position after completing our fifth question. Our sixth question is which type of memory appeared to be the most reliable and resistant to forgetting? Option 1 semantic, option 2 procedural. Option 1 semantic, option 2 procedural. Option 2 procedural is the right answer and 34% people are right here. The leaderboard, Guinelian is holding the first position after completing the sixth question. Our seventh question is Marcel name which two variable in education? Option 1 student effort and teachers feedback. Option 2 individual schooling and earnings. Option 1 student effort and teachers feedback. Option 2 individual school for learning. Option 2 individual schooling for and earning is the right answer and 2% people are right here. The leaderboard, Gillian is holding the first position after completing the seventh question. Our eighth question is mental picture that we form to visual stimuli are held in the memory. Option 1 iconic memory, option 2 iconic memory. Option 1 iconic memory is the right answer and 83% people are right here. The leaderboard, Gillian is holding the first position. Our ninth question is maintenance rehearsal is frequently used by teacher in education. Option 1 true, option 2 false. Maintenance rehearsal is frequently used by teachers in education. Option 1 true, option 2 false. Option 2 false is the right answer. 9% people are right here. The leaderboard. Guinelian is holding the first position. Our last and final question of this session. Flashback memory. Option 1. Process of solving problem by climbing ideas or behavior. Option 2. Memory that in highly decided expectationally and vivid snapshot. Option 2. Memory that is highly detailed, exceptionally vivid snapshot is the right answer and 74% people are right here. Congratulations after our top 10 quiz competition winner. We have all of your name which you entered during joining. We will pick your name and prepare certificate and will post them into our official Facebook page and group. Our official Facebook page is Institute of Global Professional. Dear participant, it's time for our question answer session. After a short video, we will start our question answer session. So let's enjoy our question answer session. এখানে লেখেন Welcome back to our participant. Welcome back, sir.
Namaskar.
Namaste. Our first question is from CUNY. Good afternoon, everyone. Good day, sir. How can we cure forgetfulness?
Okay, very good afternoon, Kuni, and you have raised a very important question that how we can cure forgetfulness. Remember, this is a very psychological aspect, and forgetfulness we can cure in two things. As a teacher, we have to give a different lead. As a student, suppose we want to remove from a student, it is different phenomena. So this forgetfulness can be cured by noting down in a very short term. Suppose we want to memorize any formula, then tell the student that how they can memorize. So suppose they can remember the first word of that formula. They can relate with any incidents, and more thing is there. This definitely forgetfulness will be avoided if they do by their own hand. I just suppose you are the teacher of mathematics and you are teaching, I do not know you are teaching which subject or what is your domain. If you write there, it will be very helpful for me that you are from which field. So I can answer this question in a more uh, correct way. So CUNY Rose, you are from which field, what subject you are teaching, it will be very helpful for me. But as a general, if you want to cure forgetfulness, it cannot be cured, it can be avoided. It is not any mental disease or any psychological problem that we can cure forgetfulness. It is not that if you are having forgetfulness, if we are having some mental blockage. No, forgetfulness, anything, if we remember in a perfect way, it will never be forget. We can write down, we can have there this small abbreviations, and if we repeat, if we do the rehearsal, if you do the revision, definitely this forgetfulness will be totally avoided. So curing is not a problem, it is not any psychological disease. Everybody from top to bottom, from A to Z, they are having forgetfulness. But only one thing is there, we should able to recall our memory to avoid forgetfulness. So for that, only two things are there. We should have good written structure. We should write somewhere, and more thing, we should relate with some situations. So if I know your subject, what subject you are teaching in your school or in your college, it will be very helpful to me. I am very thankful for asking this question. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your answer. Our next question is from Jordan Jue. Good day, sir. What is the main role of working memory in terms of learning?
Okay. Jordan Joy, this working memory in the terms of learning, you see, working memory is a, actually it is not a, there is a very short difference between active memory and working memory. Working memory is such a, suppose we want to have anything, we want to be, okay, tomorrow we are having the examination, students are having examination. So what they do, they are revising each and everything, and tomorrow they are going for examination. But for working memory, it is just like a, we say, na, it is a working copy, it is a fair copy. Working copy means, working memory means they should have a one plain paper or two, three papers. Suppose they are having tomorrow science examination. So what students should do, they should revise each and every aspect, but whether it's a sound, it's a light, it's a magnetism, or it's electricity, and they should note down 3 4 point. So that 3 4 point, it will be a working memory. Working memory means a very precise things which can be added to your examination point of view. So working memory is just noting down a very important thing. You can tell to a student that the main role of working memory is noting down of very important things for examination. Remember, whatever students are knowing for examination, if you are, I hope you are from teaching field. So as a teacher, suppose you are going to, tomorrow is a mathematics examination. So what students should do, or what I was doing during my school time, I will note down what are the things I do not know, or to whom I have tendency to forget. So just before examination, 1 or 2 hours, when we are going to examination hall, or when we are in our hostel or in a room, we can refer that thing, that is known as working memory. Working memories will be very helpful to student, and definitely I am sure, this is my experience, they are going to add minimum 1 to 5% marks in their examination if they are having good working chart. So this working memory will be very helpful in terms of learning, because learning also leads to any examination. Whatever we learn either today or tomorrow or after 1 year, we have to face some examination, either oral or interview. Suppose somebody is going for interview, there also he can have a working memory. What is his or her hobby? Why he or she want to go for their job? These are the things will helpful in terms of learning. Thank you, Jordan Joy.
Thank you so much, sir, for your answer. Sir, I think there is no more question. On behalf of IGP, thank you so much, sir. It was a very wonderful session. I hope everyone learned from your presentation.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dear participant, it's time to give you your webinar code. Our today's webinar topic is Memory and Forgetting in Education, and the code is IGP 1221. And the code is IGP 1221. Without code, no one is eligible for certificates. With code, you can claim your certificate anytime. Now, I'm going to tell you that how to claim your certificate. First, you have to go www.eduigp.com. Then you have to click there in login if you have already an account. If you have don't any account, you have to click on sign in. Once login, click free webinar, select the webinar title and click continue course. If you already enroll, then you can continue. But if you are not enrolled yet, first you have to enroll there. After enrolling, type the code in your certificate code box. Click get your certificate. It is auto downloaded in PDF file already. Just check your file manager or download folder. Thank you so much everyone for your active participation. I hope everyone learned from our webinar. See you again in our next session. Till that, stay happy. Once again, I am Badhan Das from Bangladesh.